Hello there, you're with NDTV. I'm Maha Siddiqui. Our top story at the moment, 1 month on, Maharashtra is yet to have a full-fledged cabinet. In a last-minute dash to get the names of cabinet ministers cleared, Devendra Fadnavis came to Delhi as Eknath Shinde was unwell. Deputy Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis is visiting Delhi to meet BJP bosses on portfolios. If cleared by the BJP top brass, then the ministry expansion is likely on Friday. 35-day-old government is in place, but only the Chief Minister and the Deputy Chief Minister have been sworn in so far. Shinde seems to be under pressure from his fellow Shiva Sena rebels for plum portfolios as well. 47 ministerial vacancies, 39 Rebel Sena MLAs and 106 BJP MLAs. That's what is worrying the duo now.
There are only two ministers, which includes the Chief Minister Eknath Shinde as well as the Deputy Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis. Today, the Deputy Chief Minister is in Delhi. He has reached Delhi. He is speaking to the High Command as we speak. And it is expected that today there might be green signal given by the Delhi BJP High Command on who all should be included in the cabinet expansion. Now, as per my sources, a lot of things are being discussed. In fact, a new pattern is being discussed as well on what should be the cabinet all about. Should it include all those ministers who were earlier ministers in the previous cabinet, be it the 2014 to 2019 or the 2019 to 2022 MVA government, or whether there should be a chance given to the new leaders as well as given that a new government is coming in power. So these all things are being discussed, but at the same time what needs to be questioned is that Chief Minister Eknath Shinde, who last month went to Delhi 4 times, is not going to Delhi. Now, whether we should call this timing as a mere coincidence, or is it that Shinde is upset is not being said as of now, but the team of Eknath Shinde has told that he is unwell, and that is the reason he has cancelled all his programs today, and Devendra Fadnavis is the only one who is going to Delhi. What you see behind me is the office of Prasad Lad. He is known to be very close to Devendra Fadnavis, and even when we are reporting from here, the workers of his own team are asking us whether Prasad Lad will be included or not. So this is how tight-lipped everyone is regarding what will happen.
Well, and the Uddhav Thackeray camp in Maharashtra got a relief from the Supreme Court. The court restrained the Election Commission from deciding a plea by the Eknath Shinde side to recognize his group as the real Shiv Sena. The Supreme Court is likely to take a call on Monday if the Shinde versus Thackeray matter should be referred to a larger bench. And in a show of force, China started its military drills around Taiwan. On Thursday, these military drills will continue till Sunday. But what was startling was that China used ballistic missiles today. China's show of force, ballistic missiles used in the live-fire military drills surrounding Taiwan in 6 locations. Plumes of smoke and loud booming sounds, as the Dongfeng series missiles were fired Thursday afternoon by the Chinese PLA.
霸道和蛮横无理，什么是台湾问题的现状？事实一清二楚，明明白白，那就是两岸同属一个中国，台湾是中国领土的一部分。两岸虽然长期政治对立，但是中国的国家主权和领土完整从未分割，这是台海问题的真正的现状。
China's military muscle flexing well within the maritime boundary of Taiwan, which is within 12 nautical miles, and in its internal waters as well. Taiwan has condemned the action of China, calling it irrational and one that undermines regional peace. Taiwan's military, however, did not confirm the precise location where the missiles landed or whether they flew over the island. Meanwhile, the G7 nations condemned the move by China, while the smaller Southeast Asian countries grouping ASEAN cautiously sought restraint, while adding that they individually recognize the One China policy. This as S. Jaishankar and Antony Blinken met on the sidelines of the ASEAN Plus foreign ministers meeting in Cambodia and stressed on a free and open Indo-Pacific.
The ASEAN meetings is the opportunity it also affords to get together and compare notes with our closest partners, starting with my longtime friend, Indian Prime Minister Jaishankar. So this is an opportunity for us to compare notes as we head into these very important ASEAN meetings. We're both strong proponents of ASEAN centrality. We have a shared vision together for a free and open Indo-Pacific that we work on in so many different ways.
It's actually been a very busy year. We had a very good Quad, and since then I think a number of developments all over the world. Thank you for the time so that we can exchange notes.
The military muscle flexing of China that will go on till Sunday is to announce its indignation at Taiwan hosting the US House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. And China isn't stopping at military warnings. It has suspended sand exports, crucial for Taiwan as a raw material for construction projects. It has suspended the import of some fruits and fish from Taiwan, which include grapefruits, lemons, oranges, and chilled large head hairtail and frozen horse mackerel. Mainland China has been Taiwan's top export destination. Experts believe the economic squeeze might expand as China decides to punish Taiwan. As we look at the Chinese saber rattling off the coast of Taiwan, India has its own security concerns. In the high seas, the latest one concerns the arrival of a state-of-art missile tracking ship, which is expected to dock in Hambantota, Sri Lanka on the 11th or the 12th of this month. Vishnu Shom explains.
As we look at Chinese saber rattling off the coast of Taiwan, India, we have our own security concerns. In the high seas, the latest one concerns the arrival of a state-of-the-art missile tracking ship from China. It's expected to dock in Hambantota, Sri Lanka on the 11th or the 12th of this month. Now, the ship is the Unwell 5. It tracks satellites and intercontinental ballistic missiles. If deployed in parts of the Indian Ocean, it may be able to monitor India's missile tests from Wheeler Island off the coast of Orissa. Now, by tracking Indian ballistic missile tests, China will be able to glean information on the performance of Indian missiles and the exact range of these missiles.
Let's turn our attention now to India. There was an exchange of harsh words in Parliament on Thursday with the ED's continued searches in the National Herald case. Mallikarjun Kharge charged at the government for witch hunt. The government retorted saying agencies are doing their job.
हम इंटिमिडेट नहीं होंगे, हम नरेंद्र मोदी से नहीं डरते हैं, समझ गए बात? कर लें जो करना है, कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा। जो मेरा काम है, देश की रक्षा करना, लोकतंत्र की रक्षा करना, देश में जो हार्मनी है उसको मेंटेन करना, वो मैं करता रहूंगा। ये कुछ भी कर लें।
प्रोग्राम्स भी उपलब्ध है, CSR भी उपलब्ध है, उसके तहत आप बैठ जाइए सर, आप बैठ जाइए। Please do not waste the time of the House. Honorable LOP, please allow the House to proceed.
The National Herald case stalled Parliament again today with Congress MPs protesting over the alleged misuse of central agencies. The latest trigger was Mallikarjun Kharge, leader of the opposition in Rajya Sabha and also the principal officer of Young Indian Limited, a Congress-run firm, who was summoned by the Enforcement Directorate to aid their search of the Herald House office. Amidst much shouting, he was countered by Union Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal.
पार्लियामेंट जब चल रहा है तो ईडी का समन आता है, आप जल्दी आइए। वो पर्पसली ये कर रहे हैं कि हमको डिमोरलाइज करने के लिए, हमको खत्म करने के लिए, डराने के लिए। हम डरेंगे नहीं, हम फाइट करेंगे। इसमें सरकार किसी तरीके से, सरकार कभी भी जो लॉ एनफोर्समेंट अथॉरिटीज है उसके काम में दखल अंदाज नहीं देती।
Mr. Kharge, what do you have to say on the allegations that have...
After raising the issue in Parliament, Kharge complied with the ED summons and reached the Herald House, where the agency completed the search proceedings. Opposition parties issued a joint statement on Wednesday, raising concern over the recent PMLA judgment.
ED sources say the search proceedings have been completed in the National Herald case, and very soon the alleged proceeds of crime in this case will be attached, followed by a charge sheet against Gandhis. With camera person Sanjay Kaushik, this is Arvind Gunasekar for NDTV.
Well, and Partha Chatterjee continues to be at the centre of the teachers' recruitment scam as the Enforcement Directorate tries to recover alleged proceeds of crime from properties linked to the sacked Bengal minister and his close aide.
Fresh searches by the Enforcement Directorate in connection with the teachers' recruitment scam. But no recoveries in this posh apartment complex where the ED team broke into a flat on the 5th floor. Meanwhile, these candidates claim they lost out on jobs that were rightfully theirs to people who were pushed up the merit list and given jobs in spite of not making the cut. They say it was their continued protests since 2019 that led to the matter reaching the High Court, which ordered a CBI probe, after which the ED got involved. Sangeeta Nag alleges recruitments were based on bribes and not merits.
पैसे के बदले में हुआ है, तो वो सब पैसे कहाँ गए? कहीं ना कहीं तो गए हैं ना। तो हमें लगता है कि वो सारे पैसे जो अभी हमको दिख रहा है टीवी पे, वो सारे पैसे उसी क्या है।
Job seekers like Sangeeta feel they've lost out on hard-earned opportunities because they did not pay a bribe.
हाई सेकेंडरी स्कूल के टीचर के लिए 20 लाख तक पैसे मांग रहे थे वो लोग, और ऐसे शायद होगा, मतलब बहुत सारे लोग ऐसे हो सकते हैं कि जो लोग ऐसे 20 लाख देके नौकरी कर रहा है.
Meanwhile, Partha Chatterjee, who had cash amounting to only 6,300 rupees, according to his election affidavit in 2011, now has cash of around 1,50,000 rupees as mentioned in his 2021 election affidavit. A key contrast to this pile of currency notes recovered from his aide. ED sources claim Partha Chatterjee remains non-cooperative, but searches will continue based on what his close aide Arpita Mukherjee has revealed to the agency.
For the Enforcement Directorate, massive cash recoveries early on in the investigation came as a shot in the arm. But the challenge for the agency will be proving that the recoveries are indeed proceeds of crime and linked to Partha Chatterjee. And for that to happen, it will have to depend on the CBI to prove the alleged irregularities in the teachers' recruitment scam and the charges against him. In Kolkata, with camera person G.D. Shankar, Saurabh Gupta, NDTV.
A look now at the markets and the RBI's rate decision on Friday. Priyanshi has more.
There are multiple worrying signs right ahead of the Reserve Bank's rate hike decision. Number one, rupee weakened by 31 paise and ended at 79.47 per dollar, falling for the second straight session. Now, rupee's value against the dollar is falling as dollar's rate is climbing up. This is primarily because the Fed recently signaled that they will keep raising interest rates till inflation comes in control. The fear of high borrowing costs is again taking global investors back to the safe currency, which of course is the dollar, and that's taking the dollar's demand and its rate up. Now, the second factor is that markets ended that 6-day winning streak. Sensex was down 52 points and ended at 58,298, while Nifty lost 6 points and settled at 17,382. Now, markets were clearly volatile ahead of the Reserve Bank's decision. Now, experts predict a 30 to 50 basis point Reserve Bank rate hike. Along with that decision, we'll also have to see whether the inflation and GDP forecast of the Reserve Bank will be revised. Now, there's a third factor as well that could make things worse, both for the markets and for the global economy as well. The Bank of England announced its sharpest rate hike in 27 years. The bank raised interest rates by 50 basis points to 1.75% to control inflation that's at a 40-year high. And that's not all. The Bank of England has predicted the longest recession for the United Kingdom since the global financial crisis of 2008. The bank said that the UK economy would begin to shrink in the final quarter of 2022 and contract throughout next year. These are the top worries ahead of that key RBI decision, and all eyes, of course, on RBI's announcement.
Now, the IMF has released its external sector report, and there's some advice for India there. Sakshi has more details.
The ongoing pandemic and Russia's invasion of Ukraine continue to be a setback to the global economy, impacting current account balances of countries, says the IMF in its latest external sector report. The International Monetary Fund believes that in order to maintain external sector balance at a comfortable level over the medium term, India needs to gradually withdraw fiscal and monetary policy stimulus. In the report, the IMF has also suggested India must develop export infrastructure, negotiate free trade agreements with key trading partners to provide a sustainable boost to exports, and should further liberalize its investment regime along with a reduction in tariffs, especially on intermediate goods. Structural reforms could deepen the integration in global value chains and attract FDI, hence mitigating the external vulnerabilities. And of course, exchange rate flexibility should act as the main shock absorber, with intervention limited to addressing disorderly market conditions only, says the IMF.
Well, a Breaking Bad type drug case in Mumbai where a chemistry graduate, or rather postgraduate, has been arrested in a 1400 crore rupees drug haul.
In what is Mumbai's biggest drug haul this year, over 700 kilograms of mephedrone, also known as MD, worth an estimated 1400 crores in the international market, have been seized. And behind this is not a drugs cartel, but in a Breaking Bad redux, a young chemistry postgraduate actually made the drugs and is one of the 5 accused.
5th नंबर का एक्यूज है वो खुद प्रोड्यूस करता था. 5th नंबर का एक्यूज है वो केमिस्ट्री में पोस्ट ग्रेजुएट है. उसको टेक्निकल नॉलेज है कि किस प्रकार से मेफेड्रॉन का प्रोडक्शन किया जा सकता है, उसकी क्वालिटी मेंटेन करना और प्रोडक्शन करना, इस सब चीजों का उसको नॉलेज है और उसी नॉलेज का इस्तेमाल करके वो अपना काम कर रहा था.
However, the big questions remain. Where does the money from this massive drug supply go? And who is the mastermind behind one of the largest drug rackets in Mumbai in recent times? With Sunil Singh, Sakshi Bajaj for NDTV.